making accurate drawings from still life images. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to break this up into its simplest parts. So with my image here, I've got sort of 3 major blocks that I'm going to break this up into. So I'm going to break this up by splitting my page up into 4. And the best way you can, sort of easiest way to draw something like this is to work from an image that's the same size as your drawing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this up into 4 pieces really quickly. And all I do is find roughly the half of it, draw on my image, so I've got a nice edge for all of my image to go in. And then instead of doing one whole drawing, I've got 4 smaller ones. You can do this again and turn it to 8 or whatever you want. So I'm going to put my image to the side. I'm going to do exactly the same on my paper. So same kind of size block. Up there like that. Just going to move my paper a little bit so you can see. Okay, it's the same size block that we had before. I'm going to split that up in the same way as my images. And I'm going to start to break these objects up into their shapes. So you can see how the middle start of this kind of splits this roller here. And the end of this roller comes off to this side to almost below halfway here. So I'd say that's halfway between that box. So it's just below that. So I'm going to mark that here. So I know where it ends. And I'm going to mark here where that roughly that shape goes to. So I'm going to put that on roughly down there. Okay, so I've broken that section up. I need to look at where the other edge of this roller goes. So the top is just above halfway there. So I'm going to mark that on, roughly there. And the same on the other side. It kind of goes halfway, just above halfway down, but eats into the other side. So I'm going to actually try and find this angle. It should be square with this one. Okay. Now this is just a rough drawing at this stage. Okay, so I'm just getting in the rough shapes. So all I'm doing, my pencil is holding it quite near the top. So it's quite inaccurate, but what it does do is give me lots and lots of leading lines that I can then correct. So I'm just going to get some extra shapes in there. And I'm going to go on to the top bit now. Again, this is just roughly near the top there. So I can take that, it comes round the side here of this pot. And then ends roughly halfway in between, if you can see that. Just a little dip on it there. Right, okay. So I've got my rough shape in there. That comes out. Where's the bottom of it? So it's just below this piece here. So that comes in there. And I've got the same edge as this. Okay, so that's the top of that. Now go on to my next piece, which is the little box brownie camera. So I'm going to get this front edge to it, which starts down here at the edge of that little roller. So I'm going to do exactly the same to that. Now where does the end finish here? That's just below where those two things meet. Okay, so let's go along from there. That's here where that's going to start. Okay, so that's the rough shape, and if you see, the box brown isn't straight on, so it does go up a little bit that way and finishes basically at the top there of this edge. Okay, right, so same again with the back piece. I'm going to run that up and it ends just above here, so if I do that there to help me, and then I've got a rough shape there of my box brownie. Okay, now all I do now is start to put in the smaller details, and all the time I'm just checking with my drawing, checking things are accurate, using little things to kind of help me draw it. So like the top of this finishes there where this piece comes out, you know, this is on a slight angle, but the bottom of the lid touches roughly the top of that. So I know that's fairly accurate. I know that this handle here needs a little bit of adjustment. So I'm going to go back in and correct those lines there. It's kind of tapered as well. So all the time I'm getting a little bit harder with my pencil, with a little bit more detail. and a little bit more accurate each time. Okay, so you can see I'm changing and adjusting. Now notice this isn't a perfect drawing yet, and it will be all about correcting each phase. Okay, so I keep going. I'm going to put the highlight on here, just in there, and slowly just start to add in more and more detail as I go. And remember, don't rub out any of your lines yet until you've got to a point where you're happy with the general shape of everything. Okay, I can rub the lines out once I know I've got the correct one, so I'll just use a wrong line to help me find the correct one. So like in this one for example, I know that the line fits around there and it's through the middle of these. Okay, and I've got a little bit more accurate. I'm not pressing on too hard, I just want to get it so I can rub it out in the end as well, and I'm using a HB pencil that I can rub out later. Okay, so that is your drawing out phase. Remember, split it up on the page into 4 at least. Use those to start off, so maybe start in the middle here and work your way out. Look at how you can use little measurements to guide off these little marker points. Where does the top of this finish? How does this meet up with the top of this? You know, all the time I'm using those little cues to help me make my drawing accurate.